Well, go on, everybody. Lennox here from Simple123 Trader. This is the weekly playbook for the week of July 17th to the 22nd. Hope everybody is doing well. I'm going to start off with a look at the US dollar index. And as usual, the US dollar index for our Simple123 member traders signals opportunities in the major currency pairs. And I'll start off again with the US dollar, then we look at the other majors, the Aussie, Euro, USD, and Euro USD, and so forth. Okay, starting off US dollar index on the weekly, we're still in a very strong uptrend on the weekly time frame, but very much at a high point where we could be looking at a possible turnaround point. Going back in history, way back on the monthly time frame, you can see we're sitting at a point where we had a little bit of congestion way back in 2002 area. So lots of congestion there, possibility of getting a little bit of congestion in here as well before we break to the upside one more time. All right, so that's a long-term look at this on the weekly, dropping back. This is where we are. And on the daily, a little bit of a pullback. So we could see either congestion or maybe a little even a further drop into this week as the week progresses. Let's go down a little further on the 4-hour, take a look at it. Okay, so at this point, we could see further weakness going into the week, in the start of the week, maybe back down to this area or even lower. That's totally possible. So we'll see how this plays out at this point. All right. So any kind of weakness in the US dollar would give us opportunities to the upside. And Aussie dollar has strength, and that's looking on the 4-hour pretty good for a continued move to the upside out of this mess here that it's in. Okay, little congestion area at the bottom. We go to the daily, look at it, looking very strong. We could push out to the upside. Taking a look at, I'm just going to go through the major currencies. So the euro or the Canadian dollar, also looking very strong at this point as well on the 4-hour. You can again pushing up with some strength, and we could see a little bit of hesitation in this area, but continued move to take us up into this area. Or could happen all this week here. The euro on the daily also looking strong after a huge drop. We got a pin bar there on the daily, on the 4-hour, also setting up for a nice move to the upside, coming up into this area, and even further if everything plays out. Lots of strength there. The Swiss franc. Let's go to the daily. Okay, we've been in a kind of a channel here, looking like we could get another push back up to the upside, but it's just starting at this point. So on the 4-hour time frame, pushing to the upside, just a retrace possibly, or either a retrace of this current move back up, or we can even go much higher back up to the top, and even higher, breaking trend line, something like that. That's totally possible, but we're heading back to the upside on the Swiss franc. Taking a look at the New Zealand dollar on the daily. Okay, also quite strong off a huge drop. We've got a pin bar there as well, looking to turn this tide around and push back to the upside, and that's what we're doing. So I would look for continued movements back up into this area and even higher going into the week. This is the British pound. Okay, on the daily, looking to turn around after a big drop here, and it is starting to push also to the upside. Okay, so we should see continued moves to the upside. Could even make it to this level. Don't know if it will do it this week or not, but definitely has a chance of doing that. Okay, let's take a look at Bitcoin. And on the daily as well, Bitcoin, a little bit of sideways in here, and trying to push back to the upside of the sideways channel. Let's go a little closer and take a look on the 4-hour. You can see we're quite a bit sideways in here, and coming off the lows, pushing back to the upside of this channel. We could see a breakthrough of the channel, maybe even breaking these highs, coming into the 24. This can definitely be pushed, to hit 23,000 area, I should say, before we see a turn back. So looking strong on that one as well. But remember, we're inside of a channel, so this could be short-lived as well, and we could be turning back down again. The overall trend is to the downside. If you look at Bitcoin on the weekly, for instance, we've had quite a drop. We're sitting at a pretty precarious level, but we could drop one more time into this lower area here, down into the maybe 17.5, maybe even close to 15,000. That's possible. Not saying it's going to happen this week, but certainly a push below these lows is possible. Okay, crude oil. Crude oil has had quite a pullback, and is it done? We're sitting at a very strong support area, so we could see a bounce in the short term. Looks like it's setting up for a bounce. That's on the daily, and so on the 4-hour, it's looking like indeed we could get a turnaround push back up into these areas here. Okay, so a little bit of strength in crude oil going into the week is totally possible. Now look at the DAX, and on the daily, DAX also looking for a little push. Let's go to the weekly, and we are way down after quite a move to the downside here, and sitting at a crucial area. Possible turnaround is there, and it's starting to look like that's what's happening on the 4-hour. It's a bit patchy, but yeah, we could get a nice push to the upside for the week here. All right, looked at everything. I did not look at the Japanese yen. Japanese yen on the daily. Okay, it too has been down for quite some time. Let's go to the weekly. It still looks very weak overall on the weekly. On the monthly, yeah, we can't. Just trying to see to the left, and you can see from way over here that we've got a little bit more room to fall. So opportunities to the downside still exist in this pair. Maybe getting very close to the bottom of this move, however. So I'd be careful about going too short on this. Okay, but looking very weak going into the week. And this is the NASDAQ. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ on the weekly. Looking like it wants to push back up. Short term, we could see moves taking us back up into this area. That's totally possible. Let's go to the daily, and it is rather choppy, but looking like it could push through this level. And going to the 4-hour on this. Okay, so we're inside this area. It's to go something like this. We could also go something like that. Looking like we're going to break through these highs and push up this week. So lots of strength going on in the NASDAQ starting off the week. Looking at the Russell 2000, it too on the 4-hour looking very strong, pushing, looks like it's going to push to the upside into this area at the start of the week. The Dow, similar type of pattern, everything is looking strong to the upside, so Dow looks like it could push up to this area, no problem. And S&P 500, also similar pattern, looking like we could push right up to the top of this channel that we're in. So it's kind of, we're all in a similar channel. So all right, and U.S. Technology Group, the big tech stocks, looks like also we could push a little further up into this area. All right, so strength going into the week for the U.S. indices. A little bit of weakness in the U.S. dollar, and keep your eyes on the major pairs for opportunities based on what the U.S. dollar does. Profitable trading to everyone. I'm done now. Thank you.